Joint forces launch election operation. Eviction notice by Lands Department questioned. And awards up for grabs tonight.
This is National EMTV News with Marilyn Diaukatam.
Good evening and thank you for joining me with today's news. Police Commissioner Gary Bucky and Chief Secretary Isaac Lupari officially launched the Joint Security Forces National Election Operations in Mount Hagen yesterday. The launching consisted of a joint parade by members of the PNG Defence Force, Correctional Service and the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary. The joint operation coincides with the launching of RPNGC's Communications Centre.
To the Aroben NGI launching, this is the largest Joint Forces Security Parade in the country. The parade also marks the launching of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary's Communication Command Centre. The Police Commissioner Gary Bucky hosted the parade and Chief Secretary Isaac Lupari was the reviewing officer. Heads of the three disciplinary forces, including other heads of department, election managers of the 7 Highlands provinces and provincial police commanders were present at the launching. Bucky told the parade to take pride of their uniforms and ensure the 2017 national election is not failed. And with the launch of the Communication Command Centre, it boosted the RPNGC's approach of monitoring the election operations.
Our right to act as you perform a role as electoral officials to do what is expected of them to do during the elections. Your role is to support them. Your role is to provide the security that is required. Nothing more, nothing less. We have to provide the environment, security environment safe for our men and women our population to go and cast their vote.
Brigadier General Gilbert Toropo told MTV News that PNG Defence Force has committed 500 personnel to support the Electoral Commission. Toropo says a thorough preparation, training and planning has already been done by PNGTF and deployments of soldiers have already started this week to the Highlands. They will also provide transportation, which also includes aircraft and ships for air and sea patrolling. Before and after the counting, the PNG Defence Force will transport the ballot boxes to and fro the polling and counting area.
This is for all throughout the country. So this is inclusive of pilots, ship's crew, as well as those who will be deployed up into the islands. At the moment, now we've had forward elements who were the advance party present at the launching this morning.
CS Commissioner Michael Waipo says the main focus will be on the prisoners, but they will assist mobile squad with manpower. At least 500 personnel from the Correctional Service will be deployed to support in providing security. Prisoners who will be eligible for voting are those in their voting age and have been living in the prison for more than 9 months. Meanwhile, Waipo says internal memo has already been issued for warders to scale down on non-essential issues and focus on the election.
Also, important responsibility of ensuring we have a safe and secure environment in our institutions also. So we also have officers, men and women, who are available in the institution to ensure that this is maintained and we do not run into a situation where we have another break in the middle of the election. So.
The 2017 national election is fully funded by the national government with 120 million kina. So far, the Electoral Commissioner, Patelas Gamato, has been working closely with the Commander of Security Forces, Gary Bucky, Brigadier General Gilbert Toropo, and Correctional Service Commissioner Michael Waipo. Gamato says the launching is a strong and positive indication of support from the three disciplinary forces for this coming election.
I want to encourage political parties and their supporters to work together. Under the LPV system, our electoral system, the limited preferential voting, we have 3 choices. So those 3 choices have equal value, equal power. And so if people realize that, they'll have to work together to get support, the third preference and second preference and third preference from other candidates.
The election operations have already started. But today's launching officially signifies the joint security operations for the national elections. The heads of the disciplinary forces and the Electoral Commissioner are confident that the 2017 national elections will be successful. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
Incumbent Hela Governor Francis Potope is calling on suspended Provincial Administrator William Bando to respond to allegations leveled against him. Governor Potope alleged that nearly 9 million has been unaccounted for by Bando in Hela's public service mechanism. The Hela Provincial Executive Council recommended the suspension of Mr. Bando on the 15th of April 2017.
Hela has another twist in the leadership of its provincial administration. Under the leadership of sitting Governor Francis Potope, the Hela PEC served a notice to Provincial Administrator William Bando to respond to alleged abuse and misconduct in officer sessions. Potope says the case is serious.
And I want to call on Mr. Bando that you are still the Provincial Administrator but suspended. And you now have to respect the decision of the Minister for the investigation to clear you of all the serious charges laid against you.
According to Governor Potope, Mr. Bando has not responded to the disciplinary offences. Potope says all funding has been halted due to outstanding acquittal reports by Bando.
As it is, I have stopped the provincial government accounts. I have stopped the provincial government accounts, and I am now waiting for the Governor General to sign those instruments, and Hela Province will begin to see some projects again.
Mr. Bando has filed a case to challenge Hela PEC's decision. However, on 3rd of May, the National Executive Council approved the decision by the Hela PEC. On 19th of May, Public Service Minister Dr. Puka Temu wrote a letter specifying the suspension of Bando and declared the appointment of Kove Waiko as the new provincial administrator under the Public Service Management Act 2014.
It is the Public Service Minister as an elected body, as a relative member of Parliament that has been given that responsibility by law. And he has made that appointment.
Potope is urging Chief Secretary Isaac Lupari to establish an investigation into Bando's leadership. Meanwhile, Minister Temu has written to Governor General Bob Dadai to officially suspend Mr. Bando with pay and appoint Mr. Waiko as provincial administrator. Governor Potope says the turn of events is for the good of the Hela people and its public service.
It's not a personal issue between me and Mr. Bando, but this is what the people want. They want the public service machinery to be up and running. At the moment in Hela province, the public service machinery is defunct.
Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill was at a campaign rally for sitting Moresby Northwest MP Michael Malabag in Tatana village. Malabag, who was the health minister in the coalition, says PNC was directly responsible for many improvements to health infrastructure around the country. Bethany Harriman with this report.
Sitting Moresby Northwest MP Michael Malabag was in Tatana village today for an election rally. Malabag has been relatively quiet during the elections. It's not known whether it is a tactic, but the results will be seen during the polling come June. The health minister in the coalition government says a lot has been done for hospital infrastructure around the country.
Look, over the last 5 years, health in particular, health department in particular, has received so much in infrastructure. Now, this includes operating theaters. And now the operating theaters, we go all the way back to, Medellin, KV and Poboneta, Kerema. We have new facilities over there, especially operating theaters.
MTV asked him about the cancer treatment facilities in Lae and Port Moresby. He said it will be sorted out with the help of the Australian government. Angao was part of the asylum seeker deal with Australia.
With the Australian government, we're still going through those stages of trying to come up with such a stage that the actual building of the new hospital that has been agreed upon has to come into fruition. But this is where, like, the Department of National Planning also have to come in at the same time.
The Prime Minister, Peter O'Neill, attended this rally in Tatana. He was accompanied by sitting Tari MP James Marape and the Chief Secretary Isaac Lupari. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News.
The SP Sports Awards, recognizing achievements in sports, is celebrating 25 years. The ceremony is currently underway at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Port Moresby. The guest speaker is Wally Lewis, one of the most competitive captains in Australian Rugby League and a commentator on Channel 9 and Fox Sport. We go live now to Crown Plaza, where he is joined by our reporter Godwin Eki.
Thanks, Marilyn. I'm here with Wally Lewis. How does it feel to be part of this very significant event, and what will be your message this evening to the nominees that are here?
Oh, well, it's a great privilege for me to be invited over to come to present an award tonight and speak to the people here. I've been very, very lucky. I've had the opportunity of being able to travel all around the world to some wonderful places and being involved in some great sports. But every time I get the chance to come back to Papua New Guinea, it's fantastic. And if I can deliver one message to the young sports stars here, it's never give up. Always hold hope that you're going to be able to represent your country proudly.
Now, we all know that State of Origin is next week, and PNG. So many of them follow this big sporting event. Do you think Jonathan Thurston will make the team?
No, I don't. I wish he was. The fingers have been crossed for a long time, hoping that he was going to be okay, but he did fail the fitness test, unfortunately, and he's been replaced by Anthony Milford, who everybody is hoping will have a very memorable debut. Thurston, there's no guarantee that he will be there for Origin 2, but I think most Queenslanders are very hopeful that he'll be given the green light.
Now, just back to NRL, who do you think will make the 2017 Premiership this year?
Oh boy, it's hard to go against some of the teams that are at the top. Melbourne Storm, have a look at the way that they're setting the world on fire already. They are a very impressive unit, and I think that they'll continue on, and they'll be pretty hard to knock back. The Broncos are going along okay, but I think everybody else believes that it will be a Sydney team come back, and there's even a little bit of a suggestion that Cronulla, who seem to be impressing a lot of people at the moment, will make their way to the grand final. But for me, Melbourne Storm have definitely got to be the favourites.
Now, just one last question. Blues or Reds?
Blues or Maroons? Geez, I cannot say Blues. I cannot do that. I'm a Maroon for life, always will be, and I'll proudly back the Maroons, even though that they've got a few players out. Come on, Queensland, go get them.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Godwin. We'll continue with today's other stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Over 30 families were forcefully evicted in Port Moresby, Badili area. However, customary landowners say the title has not been transferred and are questioning the eviction. Landowners allege that bribery and corruption is involved and are calling on the fraud squad to investigate the matter.
Title deed. Who gave him the authority to buy this land? From whom? Who sold it to who?
A frustrated landowner spoke on behalf of the Reggiani family. She believes the transfer of the title is the work of corrupt government officials in the lands department.
How is it that lands people have illegally converted this land without the authority of the Reggiani family?
The piece of land lies along the Scratchley Road in Port Moresby South. For the Reggiani family, 7 generations have lived on this property. According to customary landowners, the land is a freehold and not for lease. Police served an eviction notice to residents in the area claiming a private company has titles to the blocks of land. But that is not the move residents are taking.
Approving fake title deeds. This is all gammon. All you people here, do not move. This is owned by the Reggiani family.
According to residents there, they have more questions behind those responsible of transferring the land titles.
Legal title will give money now will come 13 people now. Fraud must involve this plan. We must go straight to passing because land grabbing now come a big place soon now.
The Reggiani family have lived on the piece of land since 1897 when British ruled Papua. Jack Lapave Jr. National EMTV News.
The President of China, Xi Jinping, will be invited to attend an official state visit to Papua New Guinea when he attends the APEC summit in November 2018. The matter was raised during a meeting between Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and China's new ambassador Xu Bing in Port Moresby. Prime Minister O'Neill said relations with China is built on strong historical foundations and provides the basis for deepening this engagement. PM O'Neill said China and Papua New Guinea will further continue working together in other global forums. The PNG University of Technology launched its master plan for the campus as part of the 52nd anniversary celebration yesterday. The master plan includes the new 50 million kina student mess, which will take up to 15 months to build. The government allocated 8 million kina and promised another 12 million kina to construct a new student mess. Julie Badui-Owa reports from Leh.
The university's master plan was developed over the last 2 years by a professional planning company specialized in designing campuses. The University Council decided to divide the campus into 3 main areas, which include the residential area, a uni city, and the academic area, including the new student mess. This is the area to house the new student mess, as the old one was burnt down during the students' unrest last year.
Our planners, they have made a conceptual design suitable for the area where the mess has been planned now, and it's a beautiful design. It's not just a industrial shack. We really want it to be an iconic building.
Furthermore, to the 52nd anniversary, 7 new staff houses of Unitech School of Nursing were officially open to use today. The government allocated 2.5 million kina to the nursing school, which assisted the college to build these new houses. The construction of these houses began last year in October and saw its completion this year.
I'd like to advise all the new tenants to look after the houses. They are brand new with solar hot water, and so there will be a better standard of living.
The university's master plan is available on the new website called unitechpng.com, which was also launched today by the university's Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Albert Schramm.
There's already 3 departments that have completely finished the job, so you can find everything about the academic departments there. The students can find about the enrollment procedure, all the information is there. Registration is also available online and also on the mobile phone, and hopefully this year we can also link it to a payment mechanism so that people can pay and register at the same time.
Julie Badui-Owa, National EMTV News, Leh.
Stories making headlines overseas when we return, including Australian drug smuggler Corby's deportation from Bali. Stay with us. Welcome back. Indonesian officials have hand-delivered Australian drug trafficker Corby deportation papers to the villa where she has been laying low. Corby was sentenced to 20 years in jail after police found 4.2 kilograms of marijuana in her surfboard in 2004. She was expected to leave Bali today after spending 9 years in prison and 3 years on parole.
As momentum builds towards Corby's exit from Indonesia, so too does the activity outside her villa in Kuta. Today, a visit from the parole office and a standard medical checkup. She's well, the doctor kept repeating. Physically, maybe, emotionally, anxious. The police who locked her up 13 years ago are now charged with her protection.
Not for the Corby only. Everybody here, I give special security system.
And while you get the sense police enjoy the attention from inside the villa,
get away from our gates.
A reminder Mercedes Corby does not. Overnight, they did admit one visitor.
Can you tell us how Chappelle's going, sir? Did you get to see her in there?
The deadline for Corby to report to the prosecutor's office expired late this afternoon. She refuses to leave her villa. There is no formal word on what that means for her flight out tomorrow, but sources tell us her deportation will go ahead regardless.
We hope that she will never repeat it again. Be careful.
Bali Governor Mangku Pastika was head of police narcotics when Corby was arrested.
Has she reformed, do you think?
I think so. She changed a lot.
In what way, sir?
In behavior, in politeness, and the way she understands the tradition.
Bali's governor says Corby is a success story for Indonesia's justice system, not just because she's reformed, but because publicity generated from her case has proven to be a spectacular advertisement for what happens to drug smugglers in Indonesia.
Not that the message always gets through. Today, Balinese police paraded drug dealers in balaclavas and handcuffs. One faces the death penalty.
That's the final message, be a good lady and be a good Australian.
Donald Trump has promised to take action against the American official who leaked photos of the Manchester crime scene to the media. The sensitive breach has tensions running high before a summit of world leaders in Italy.
There was tension in the air at NATO headquarters, Britain's Prime Minister furious over US leaks involving the Manchester investigation.
That partnership is built on trust.
Crucial photos were passed on to the American media, along with details of the bomber possibly hampering police work.
I will be making clear to President Trump today that intelligence that is shared between law enforcement agencies must remain secure.
The President agreed, telling the Prime Minister he's ordered an investigation to get to the bottom of it, saying the culprit should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. He then turned fire on European leaders, saying they weren't paying enough for NATO's protection.
This is not fair to the people and taxpayers of the United States.
The President seemed to throw his weight around, pushing aside the Prime Minister of Montenegro, while there was a shaky moment or two with the French President.
Thank you very much.
Donald Trump has now arrived here in Sicily for the G7 summit, with climate change a key topic. No doubt there are hopes too the frosty relations with the British have thawed.
A man has pleaded guilty over his role in a violent carjacking and smash and grab freeing. Michael Gitani was part of a gang who terrorized motorists and used a demolition saw to break into shopping centres to steal cigarettes.
26-year-old Michael Gitani spent June 2 last year running riot across Melbourne during an exhaustive crime spree. He and 4 others used 2 stolen Mercedes to drive to shopping centres in Melbourne's north, where the group used a demolition saw and brute force to smash their way into cigarette stores. In one of the raids, which were carried out within minutes of each other, they stole more than $18,000 worth of cigarettes and ferried the haul away in doonas. Gitani was linked to the crime spree when a trace of his blood was found on a damaged cigarette cupboard. The group continued their spree in Melbourne, brazenly carjacking a man at a service station. Then, armed with sledgehammers and a baseball bat, they carjacked a second driver in Collins Street before speeding off in his Holden Commodore and leading police on a high-speed chase. The county court heard that Gitani was on 3 counts of bail when he took part in the crime spree. His lawyer, Christopher Farrington, told the plea hearing that his client was easily led and his judgment was impaired by habitual hard drug use, but described his role as akin to a foot soldier. Gitani's 4 alleged co-offenders have each pleaded not guilty to their role in the crime spree. They will face trial later this year. Gitani will be sentenced next month.
A Canadian hunter has become the hunted. A black bear he was stalking turned on him and charged with him, narrowly escaping from a mauling captured on camera.
Armed only with a bow and arrow, hunter Richard Wesley was in the Canadian wilderness when he crossed paths with a large black bear. And suddenly, he became the prey. Richard was knocked to the ground before he picked up his GoPro and ran for his life.
Should have shot him a long time ago. Scare me, that guy.
Close encounters with bears are not unusual in North America.
It is garbage day. I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
This bear managed to lock himself inside a car.
Game wardens say that they have been known to open car doors. This is the first time he's heard that they've locked themselves in the car.
And these 4 cubs were seen bouncing on a trampoline.
Oh my gosh, they're playing. Look, Mama. They're so cute.
But Richard Wesley will attest they're not always cute.
Quad! Quad! Quad!
Luckily, he walked away with a bruised elbow and ego.
Hopefully it never happens, but if it does, the MCG is ready for a terrorist attack or a natural disaster. It's one of 4 Melbourne landmarks chosen to be an emergency relief centre. It also hosted a disaster scenario.
I'm feeling really unwell.
It's organised chaos at a level rarely seen in Melbourne.
You're right, it's really important that you keep laying down.
200 people are acting out a potentially deadly scenario. A summer heatwave so brutal that power's out. Trams and trains are shut down. The city is grinding to a halt and people are struggling.
Can we get this jumper off?
We're at the MCG's first Emergency Relief Centre training day and the problems, although fake, pile up.
So they've got a thief in here?
No, maybe not, maybe. Well, somebody obviously stole yours.
Oh, so. Yeah.
Police, state emergency services, paramedics, Red Cross, the first responders are all here.
On a quiet day, we'll have 840,000 people in the centre of the city. On a busy day, it'll be 1 million people. And we have a duty of care to make sure that those people are safe, even in very stressful circumstances.
Melbourne has 4 emergency relief centres, the MCG, Etihad Stadium, Convention Centre and the Museum. In a disaster, they go from event venues to hubs for emergency and human services. The MCG can hold 23,000 people in its rooms and suites.
Officials say this has nothing to do with the Manchester bombing. The timing is purely coincidental. In fact, planning for today's event began last year. But with what's happened in Manchester, there's no doubt this is a timely refresher course for everyone in this room.
And if you can't get home, the next logical place is where do I go, where do I get the information, where do I get the support?
The home of cricket and football can also be a lifesaver.
Chukai Sports is next. We'll check in again with Godwin Eki, who is covering the SP Sports Awards at the Crown Plaza. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. Godwin Eki is at the SP Sports Awards night. He spoke earlier with guest speaker and rugby legend Wally Lewis. We go live again where Godwin is talking to Andrew Lepani, the head of SP Sports Awards Organising Committee. Godwin?
Thanks, Marilyn. Now, Andrew, this is such a massive event. 25 years of celebrating sporting achievements in Papua New Guinea. How does it feel to be part of this very significant event?
Yeah, it is great. We're here at the Crown Plaza, obviously, celebrating 25 years of the SP Sports Awards, the biggest night of sport for PNG. And it's great to see so many guests coming, finalists from over the years, also the finalists for this year's events. And of course, Wally Lewis, the king himself, is here to help us celebrate 25 years, the Silver Jubilee of the SP Sports Awards.
Now, we do have a few new nominees this year, and most of them are very young. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, that's the beauty of the SP Sports Awards. It recognizes the achievements of not just our most elite athletes, but also the young athletes, the up-and-coming stars, and also those who contribute to sport in PNG, from our technical officials, coaches, administrators, also the media, and even the category for the best sports photo of the year. So it's a full cross-section of everything that has to do with sport in PNG.
Is there anything else you'd like to add on to what you've just said about this event and the people that are here, the athletes, the coaches, the managers as well?
It's just going to be a fantastic night. We're all looking forward to it, and we just want to congratulate all the finalists for being part of this significant event, and we're looking forward to finding out who the winners are.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lefani.
Thank you.
Well, it's back to you, Marilyn. This is the SP Sports Awards 2017, celebrating 25-year anniversary. It's back to you.
Thank you, Godwin. To Rugby Union and the turmoil in PNG Rugby's governing body continues as 2 factions say they have legal right over the code. The 2 factions led by Ben Frame and Stephen Cumley held 2 separate news conferences at 2 separate venues and times yesterday. The Stephen Cumley group held their meeting at 3 p.m. yesterday, while the Ben Frame board held theirs earlier at 11 at Gateway Hotel.
Ben Frame stated strongly that his board is recognized by World Rugby. World Rugby, on the other hand, has ordered an immediate arbitration to take place in order to put this matter to rest, though the opposing faction refused to adhere to World Rugby's directives, as the arbitration will be facilitated by an independent New Zealand-based arbiter. Stephen Kami and his board revealed in the news conference that they will not agree to have an outsider facilitate the arbitration process, though they would also like to resolve this matter in the best possible way. Today, the 27th of May, was the deadline put forward by the Kami faction to World Rugby, insisting that a mutually acceptable and qualified PNG arbiter should oversee the arbitration.
Now, World Rugby has proposed arbitration, and both factions have agreed in principle by signing the form of consent to arbitration. Arbitration requires an arbiter who is familiar with the Associations Act and the interpretation of constitutions. On this basis, we have insisted on the appointment of a mutually acceptable and suitably qualified PNG arbiter. The process employed by World Rugby to institute arbitration proceedings has not been transparent. It appears only Mr. Ben Frame is being consulted by World Rugby on arbitration.
Ben Frame and his board, on the other hand, would also like to see an end to the current impasse, though they insist an independent arbiter who specializes in constitutional law will be the neutral party and the most favorable one to oversee these proceedings.
The game's governing body, World Rugby, of which Papua New Guinea is a member of, have not asked for, but rather ordered that arbitration is to happen. The PNG RFU has agreed to World Rugby's terms and conditions and signed the document for arbitration to proceed. However, the rebel group, led by Stephen Kami, has refused to the terms, and therefore arbitration and a resolution has once again stalled. The reasons behind Stephen Kami's refusal to proceed is that he is not happy to have an independent arbitrator who specialises in constitutional law handle this arbitration.
Meanwhile, the terms and date for the arbitration were not confirmed. For now, the Ben Frame board continues compliance to World Rugby, while the Stephen Kami faction may be taking this matter to the National Court. And as of close of business today, it has not been revealed whether World Rugby has responded or not to the Stephen Kami faction. Dini Rose Raiko, National, EMTV Sports.
To football, in the National Premier League, and Pacific Games forward Mari Kaipu was on fire for her Courage side against PRK Lalaki Vanapa FC. In the first half alone, Kaipu was able to bolt onto a hat-trick of goals as her side raced to a 4-0 lead inside the first 45 minutes. The National Premier League features a women's division as well as conferences for the men. In the men's Southern Conference, Hekari faced Rapatona with Admiralty against Amawana, while in the North, Morabel would face Nawe FC. Trukai Sports continues with NRL and Super Rugby after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The Parramatta Eels beat South Sydney Rabbitohs 22-16 in last night's round 12 NRL clash. Mitchell Moses played his second match in the blue and gold jersey after moving from the West Tigers.
Teammates. Clinton Goodison improved from last week, with Goodison also assisting with 2 tries. The Eels led all through the first half, keeping the Rabbitohs scoreless. Tries coming from Tepai Moeroa, Bo Scott and Semi Radradra.
15 tries in.
The Rabbitohs played catch-up in the second half. This saw them score their first try in the 49th minute through Angus Crichton. Score 18-6.
Won't stop him! Wow!
The Eels responded with a try from Josh Hoffman 20 minutes before full-time to feather their lead.
I think he might have it!
Rabbitohs fullback Alex Johnson scored 2 late tries to complement their losing margin.
Johnston has scored a miraculous try!
The Eels went on to win 22-16.
Siren in the background, Sam Burgess kicks.
Elijah Levette, National, EMTV Sports.
So it's all over with Parramatta.
The race for the number 2 seed in the New Zealand Super Rugby Conference is well and truly on. Following a 16-all draw between the Chiefs and Blues at Eden Park, here are the highlights.
If you're a betting man, chances are you back Piers Francis to hit this.
And he sprayed it away to the right.
Let's just hope you didn't have any money on the Blues actually making the playoffs, because that miss ended all hope.
The ball goes into touch and it ends in a draw. And I think those faces tell the story.
It's unfortunate. I thought we did enough to win. Obviously, Pierce had the opportunity to get that kick at the end and just wasn't to be.
It's a shame, really, because for a lot of last night, the Blues did look the better side. The Sunnybill offload was back, as too was Rico Ioane's footwork.
Drops a lovely short ball away to Rico Ioane, who's in for the try.
The only way the Chiefs really got back into it was thanks to one man.
Breaking is McKenzie! Damien McKenzie, brilliant!
Damien McKenzie's solo effort and this pinpoint kick
Stevenson's out there. He's got it!
setting up Johnny from Auckland, bringing the Chiefs level with 10 to play. No side, though, could break the deadlock.
I mean, if you're completely honest, we probably were a wee bit fortunate. They had a chance at the end there to kick it, and geez, 9 times out of 10 they probably would.
A draw is better than a loss, so look, it's progress. But you know, as I said earlier in the week, got to get better at clinching these New Zealand derbies.
The result means they're yet to win one of those derbies since round 1 2016, though they did snap an 11-game losing run against the Chiefs, dating back to 2011. To make matters worse, they're probably going to have to play next week in Samoa without SBW, after leaving the game with a knee injury.
That's it in Chukai Sports. The weather details when we come back.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
And now looking at our weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Port Moresby mostly fine then becoming cloudy by tonight with slight chances of light showers developing. Daru fine although cloudy at times. Kerama partly cloudy with chance of afternoon and evening showers. Alatau fine then cloud developments tonight with slight chances of light showers. Popondetta becoming cloudy with chances of a shower or two tonight. Lae, cloudy periods with occasional showers and thunderstorms. Medang becoming cloudy with chances of a shower or two tonight. Wewak mostly fine, then cloud developments by tonight with chances of light showers. And Vanumu fine, although cloudy at times. Lorengau and Kimbe overcast with occasional rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Kavieng fine, although cloudy at times. Kokopo and Rabaul fine, although cloudy at times. Buka mostly fine. And in the Highlands, all centers cloudy periods with chance of a shower or two tonight, then morning fog. Strong wind warning current for all coastal waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres and Daro to Kiwai Island to Kerama to Yule Island to Hood Point, including all Million Bay and its islands, also Finschhafen through VTS Dampier Strait to CSC Islands to Long Island to Medang to Bogia to waters west of Wewak and western part of West New Britain. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island to Kerama to Yule Island and to Hood Point, seas 2.5 to 3 meters. Waters east of Hood Point to Samurai Island, seas 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters of eastern and western Million Bay Islands, seas 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel to Finschhafen, 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters of Finschhafen to VTS Strait, Dampier Strait including CSC Islands to Long Island to Medang to Bogia and waters of East Wewak 2 to 2.5 meters. Waters of Wewak to Aitapet to Vanumu and northern PNG Indonesian border 1 to 2 meters. And waters of Manus and its western group of islands seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral seas rather rough to patches rough with southeast winds at 20 to 25 knots. Solomon seas moderate to patches rather rough at 15 to 20 knots. Bismarck seas slight to rough with winds at 10 to 20 knots. And Pacific Ocean slight moderate with winds at 10 to 20 knots. Before we go, a candidate for the open seat in North Bougainville wants the referendum realized. Speaking to EMTV News in Buka, Noel Saray says Bougainville's future must be accorded in line with the Bougainville Peace Agreement, and human resource is his priority to advance development in the autonomous region of Bougainville.
This is Noel Saray's second term contesting the national general election for the North Bougainville open seat. In 2012, he was eliminated to the 5th place. The journey hasn't ended because this year he is contesting again along with 30 other candidates under the banner of the People's Labour Party, Box 37. His campaign centers on Bougainville's future political status, an issue that hasn't been really talked about by the Bougainville leadership in the national parliament.
I, as a candidate, must also prepare the Bougainvilleans in terms of my campaign to talk to them about the importance of referendum, the importance of the process that will take place in 2 years' time, so that they can prepare their mind, their heart, so that the future can be set. And also, it is also good that this will be a good guide for all of us in terms of preparation for the political independence, which is will be chosen by the people of Bougainville.
Strengthening the human resources capacity will be a priority for the autonomous region of Bougainville, and Saray believes this is the way forward.
My priority for standing in North Bougainville is to look at human resources, because Bougainville will definitely need the human resource to advance the development in terms of setting the pace for any development in Bougainville.
Now, climate change has not been really given special considerations. Although Bougainville houses one of the first climate change refuges in the world, less attention has been given by the national government and the autonomous Bougainville government. Now, candidates contesting this year's national general elections have not really included climate change as part of the campaign strategies or platform, although one or two may have. This is an issue that local non-government organization Tulele Pesa has been advocating on, and its executive director Ursula Rakova says the government authorities must seriously address this issue.
Because most of my voters are situated around those atoll areas which are mostly affected by the climate change. So it is a serious concern for me. If people of Bougainville take me on board, I will take this as a priority also for my term in office.
Now, North Bougainville candidate Noel Saray says that good leadership is needed in Bougainville. He has called on all eligible voters to vote for good leadership that will decide the final rectification process of independence come June 2019. In Buka, Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
That's the way it is this Saturday, the 27th of May 2017. From the news team, I'm Merlin Diakotam. Pleasant viewing. Good night.